I'm a writer and mindset coach for creative entrepreneurs who want to live a life of creative freedom, earning more money for the work that you are passionate about. And this is such a great topic today. And it's really the number one belief that's screwing you over, killing your creative career and your relationships. Actually, I would say it's probably the number two belief because number one belief is I'm not good enough. Number two belief, this is something that if you're an artist, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a creative, you're definitely doing this. In fact, if you are a human being, you're definitely doing this, even if you think you're not doing it. And how do I know this? Because I speak to people all day long about their deepest subconscious fears and impulses and desires. And I hear this come up all the time. And it's crazy when you hear the words coming out of your mouth and then you dig into it and then you think about it and you're like, I don't do that. So I'm going to dive a little bit more into this and stop leaving you hanging. But so the actual, what I'm talking about, the thing that's killing you is, and killing your productivity and your creativity is actually craving external validation. And even if you think I'm not doing this, I do what I'm doing because I love it and I'm in love with the process. There's like this deep primal part of us that needs social belonging, that needs external validation because, back in the caveman days, we would literally die if our tribe didn't approve of us and accept us into the tribe. So there are all of these really primal things that are just seeking that external validation. And that can show up in forms of, craving like an award, getting an award, being recognized, getting the sales, getting the clients, hitting that income level, getting that number of audience members, whatever it is for you, then I'll feel happy, loved, successful, fulfilled, like I'm there. And, deserving, seen, respected, all of these things that we really deep down crave on a very primal level. So this is an error in thinking that's really feeding a state of lack, that's feeding, the number one belief that holds you back, which is that I'm not good enough, which is I don't already have whatever it is that I desire in order to feel full, in order to feel whole, complete, successful, there, in love with myself and fully grounded and not like I'm just chasing my tail trying to get to, the next high, the next success. So the truth is, and how you get around this, is that you have to cultivate these feelings within yourself first. And only then does the external validation arrive. While you're always in that state of lack, the world around you is always going to be reflecting that back to you by a lack of money, a lack of recognition, a lack of momentum, a lack of interest. And when you first cultivate those feelings within yourself of feeling loved, of feeling accepted, that's when the world starts to reflect that back to you and you get that marriage proposal or you get that award or you get that new client or you attract that new level of income and it seems to just seamlessly flow into your life. So when you deeply appreciate the value of your own work, you get the clients, you get the external recognition, and you get the opportunities because you show up in a completely different way to somebody who is in that state of lack and who is in that state of craving to feel seen, to feel appreciated, to feel validated, when actually the first person to give that to yourself, the only one that you can truly receive that from, is yourself. So just let that sink in for a moment because it's really, really huge. And so how do we get to this state? And, obviously, this is something that I'm always working on. It's like going to the gym, going to the emotional pattern gym, training your emotional muscles so that you are cultivating those feelings within yourself. Because when you do that, and that's something that you always have power over, right? You do not have power and influence over the board of the Oscars or, whatever it is that you would love to receive external validation for, or, that guy that you want to propose to you or those clients that you want to sign up with you. You do not have control over that. But you do have control over your state. You do have control over your inner conversation. And that's actually the only way to generate that sense of security. So using your mindset practice to reverse engineer your results not only is the fastest way to get what you want externally, but it's also how you heal the dissatisfaction, the lack, the worry, the anxiety, and you create the happiness that you're actually craving. And you have the power to do that now today. And guess how much of a higher level your work is going to be when you work from that place, rather than the place of like pushing and looking outside of yourself to create that fulfillment. Because we're really very conditioned in our culture to believe that having a bunch of external conditions is how you create stability and security, like getting a proper job, like getting your pension, yada, yada, yada. But actually, it's not those external things that creates the feelings of safety and security and fulfillment. As many of you has probably realized, they don't actually do that, or they can do for a certain extent. But these external situations can literally unravel at any moment. And they are actually outside of our control. So anything that's outside of our control is not secure, is not always 100% safe. There are things that can happen, like an economic crisis can happen, a health condition can happen, your company could go out of business, your competition beats you to it, even though I don't actually believe in competition. But so really just trying to hammer home the point that the only thing that we have control over to create those feelings of fulfillment, of being seen, of being valued, of being appreciated, that leads to those external things that don't actually create those feelings, it's the other way around, is cultivating those states of security and peace and fulfillment within ourselves first. So that's our true power, is owning our power to be able to cultivate those states and really leaning on tools and processes and habits to be living in that state and choosing those states from a moment to moment basis to reprogram and recondition this desire and this seeming requirement for external validation that drives us to push, that drives us to worry, that drives us to stress, that drives us to feel incomplete, that drives us to feel like it's hard. And no matter how much shit hits the fan, you always have that power to come back to cultivating that inner state. You always have that power. And that is true safety and that is true security when you lean on that within yourself. So, even when it feels challenging to do that, we still always have tools and processes available to be practicing that, which invariably lead back to a level of creativity that actually allows the freedom to create whatever external situations most align with maintaining feeling those feelings. So the work is always, always, always cultivating your state. And that is true creative freedom. That is true trust and security in yourself and in your ability to, participate with life in a way that feels really good for you, no matter what's going on around you, no matter how much change is. So if this is resonating with you and you realize that you're not very good at this and that you need to work on it and that you need to practice and that that you're ready to start shifting to new levels of creative freedom and fulfillment, and that you're willing to accept the support that's required in order to do that, because believe me, it's you against the culture. So it requires support. It requires consistent, ongoing support, tools, practices, and processes. And this is exactly the work that I do with my clients. And they tell, incredible things start to happen when you start to do this work with consistency. And like one client today just shared a story with me about how she literally feels like she's had generational depression just lifting from her by claiming her power to choose her state, to act on her desires, and to prioritize the things that are really valuable to her, and to not be influenced by the external world, by the external culture, by other people's desires and opinions and wishes and belief systems. So I have 2 spots available in my high-level one-on-one coaching mentorship program. It's called Creative Business Badass, and it helps you to completely transform your relationship with your value, with your passion work, and to be able to really deeply appreciate that value so that you can go out and create those external results, but in a way that is joyful, in a way that's aligned, in a way that's not riddled with anxiety, and to really shift to that new state of being so that no matter what it is that you create, no matter what, is your next level of being more aligned and being more fulfilled in the progression of the way that you make money and the way that you do your work in the world, you have that those foundational tools and processes to be able to navigate that in a way that is less uncomfortable than it can be if you don't have them. So if you're really looking to build more income around what it is that you're passionate about in life, to really step out and to do things differently than you've been doing them and to take it to the next level, I've got 2 spots. DM me and let's set up a time to talk about if we're a good fit to work together. And thank you so much for watching. Please share any takeaways that have come up for you around this, any declarations that you'd like to make to really committing to that work, to living with more fulfillment and more enjoyment from the work that you're doing. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.